Not even like 10 minutes later, I turn around and Cameron's face is completely red and puffy. His eyes are watering. He's sneezing one time after the other, and he never does that. He was coughing. He was starting to scratch like all over, like real crazy. Hey guys, if you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Kiani. I have a 1-year-old son named Cameron who is not here with me today. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about two things. So first, I'm going to be talking about the transition from formula to almond milk. And then secondly, I'm just going to talk about our experience reintroducing dairy into his diet after having a milk protein allergy this whole first year, which, disclaimer, it did not go well at all. So if you're interested in those topics, please keep watching. Okay, so as I mentioned, Cameron has a milk protein allergy, and so throughout his first year of life, we were trying a ton of different formulas that just were not working with him, and we found out he had this allergy. So what we ended up doing was we put him on a formula called Allergy, which is like a super specialized formula that contains absolutely no dairy, and it's made of amino acids. If you're looking for more information on Allergy, I do have another video that I will link above. You can click on that. But anyways, we went from Allergy formula to almond milk. So about his first week of the 12th month, I started getting low on his formula, so I'm like, let me try it cold turkey and just see real quick if it'll work out. So I tried it one night. I gave him just 100% almond milk, and I wish I had a picture of his face. He was not having it. So I'm like, all right, okay, fine. So at this point, he was drinking like 10-ounce bottles. And so I was doing formula, obviously water, and then also cereal. So that was the mix that he was having. And so basically what I decided to do was lessen the amount of formula every 2 or so days. And so the first day I did 8 ounces of the formula water cereal mix and then 2 ounces of the almond milk. And I prayed that night that he would not notice a difference, and he didn't. Another thing I did within that within that beginning stage was I started introducing almonds and almond milk in different areas of his food. And so in the mornings I would give him cereal and put a little bit of almond milk in there. I was buying him almond milk yogurt. He had almond butter, so I would make him almond butter and jelly sandwiches. Anytime I would make him the vegan mac and cheese, the milk base I would use is almond milk. And so all those things combined kind of helped him to get used to the almond milk, and I feel like it made him transition easier. So about every 2 days, I would lessen the amount of the formula water cereal mix. I did 8 ounces of the mix and 2 ounces of the almond milk. Then I did 6 ounces of the mix, and then I did 4 ounces of almond milk. And then when I got down to 4 ounces of the formula water cereal mix, I'm like, I wonder how he would do if I did 100% almond milk at this point. I was like praying again that night, like, please let this work. Please let this boy be okay with it. And it was fine. He drank it. So I'm like, hallelujah. So after that point, he was okay with the 100% almond milk. And then I took the next 2 days to kind of lessen and finally get rid of the cereal, because there really wasn't a need for that anymore. And that was pretty much it. There was no drama. It took a little over a week and it was pretty smooth. So I've heard some horror stories, and I'm just so grateful that he didn't give me a hard time. Comment down below if you have a horror story about transitioning from breast milk to regular milk or formula to milk or whatever. But I've heard of babies like straight up refusing it and throwing a fit. So I don't know what people do in those cases. I thank God that I didn't have to be one of those people. So that's it in terms of milk transitioning. So now I'll go into reintroducing dairy into Cameron's diet. Okay, so on to reintroducing dairy into Cameron's diet. Basically, When Cameron turned 1 in February, we had to go in for a 12-month appointment. And his doctor was explaining to me that most infants that have a milk protein allergy in their first year end up getting over it by the time they're 1. I think she said it was like 99% of kids that are able to handle dairy after not having it all that time and being allergic. So I'm thinking, like, what are the odds that Cameron would be in this 1%? Which I don't know why I would underestimate that possibility with the luck that we've had this year, but I did, and boy was I wrong. Anyways, she's telling me that I should start off with something small like yogurt instead of something like just whole milk, because it'll be easier on the stomach. So I'm like, okay, I kept that in mind, but I didn't want to rush and introduce him to dairy. And so I did his transition from formula to almond milk first, just in case he was allergic to the dairy still, he would have that to fall back on. So I didn't try dairy until I want to say maybe the 3rd week in his 12th month. And what I did was I went to the store and I bought a few of these Chobani yogurts. Everyone loves them, and I looked at the ingredients and they look pretty decent. So I got those. And then one day that week, I was hanging out with Cam. He already had breakfast, but it seemed like he wanted a snack or something. So I'm like, what can I give him? I look in the fridge and I see these yogurts. I'm like, do I want to try this today? I wasn't so sure, but I did it. I gave him one. It didn't seem like it was enough, so then I gave him half of another one. And then he seemed content, so I put him down to go play, and then I went to make myself food. Not even like 10 minutes later, I turn around and Cameron's face is completely red and puffy. His eyes are watering. He's sneezing one time after the other, and he never does that. He was coughing. He was starting to scratch like all over, like real crazy. And at this point, he's crying. So I pick him up. I'm like panicking, like what in the world just happened? So I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? So I ran and got his Zyrtec, the kid's Zyrtec, and I gave him a dose of that. Then I took all his clothes off and I ran a warm bath, and then I went to get some of those Aveeno oatmeal packets. I took 2 of those out and I dumped those in the bath with him. They just kind of soothe itchy skin. So I sat him in the bath and I was just kind of running the water all over him, and then I washed him up. And when I took him out, I completely lathered his body in that CeraVe healing ointment. He looked like a little butterball. Like, that's how much I used. And just as it seemed like things were calming down, he started wheezing, like he was having trouble breathing. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? So then I'm running from room to room and checking drawers and looking for his nebulizer. And of course I couldn't find it right away. And I'm just like trying not to panic. Eventually I did find it and I gave him a treatment, and that helped him a lot. And then I just went and got him a warm bottle and just kind of cuddled and rocked him until he took a little nap. And I would say it took maybe like 3 hours for it to completely calm down. But it was scary. And I was home alone. Like, I didn't even really have anyone to talk to, because I'm like, I don't know, new mom, don't know how this works. I guess if I was doing this over, I would probably come up with some type of plan as to what I would do if things went wrong, because I guess I assumed that he wouldn't be in that 1%, and so I wouldn't have to worry too much about, you know, what if he does react to it. I wasn't really thinking about that, but yeah. If any of you guys are moms that are thinking to reintroduce dairy into your baby's diet, please make sure you have a plan in place for if it does not go right, because that was crazy. And if I didn't have the necessary tools in my house already, I probably would have taken him to the ER, just because you never know. You never know if the allergy is going to be so severe that they go into anaphylactic shock, and that's just wild. So be careful. But yeah, I felt so bad that I'm the one that gave him this yogurt that made him have the allergic reaction. I just felt like a terrible mom. But you know, at the end of the day, I am glad that we have this confirmation that he is not to have dairy for a while. That's something we needed to know. So now I'm able to tell people, like, do not give him dairy at all. So as some of you may or may not know, along with being allergic to milk protein, he's also allergic to eggs. And so we've been trying to figure out things that he can eat, and also things that he'll want to eat. And so I spend a lot of time on YouTube actually looking through videos of how people make different like vegan things and dairy and egg free things, and then I try them, and if he likes them then I stick with it. So work in progress, we're figuring it out as we go along. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, if you have any advice for me as someone who has gone through it before, if you are going through it now and you need someone to talk to or just share experiences with, I'm here. Let me know. This milk protein allergy has sent him to the hospital. He's gotten eczema from it. He's had acne just covering his face. It was just awful. And so we have dealt with a lot, and I can share with you some of the things that kind of help out his skin when it starts to flare up. So that concludes my video about milk transitioning and weaning and reintroducing dairy to the diet. And yeah, I will see you guys in our next video. Bye.